Good morning. All right, guys. Let's let's just hop right into our practice since we have just 30 minutes together today. I'm gonna adjust my screen here. Great. So making your way onto your mat and just finding, actually, you know what? Let's be nice to ourselves and let's start supine. So come onto the back this morning. And you can let your feet be wider than your hips and knock the knees in. You can draw the knees in towards the chest, or if you want, you can bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees just open up. So find an appropriate, comfortable supine position, and then just arrive. Take an audible exhale if you need to. You're going to place one hand on your navel and then one hand on the heart. And just begin to anchor into your practice this morning. Start by feeling where your body is touching the floor. And then maybe you can feel the rhythm of your heartbeat. And then start to just slow down the breathing so the inhales and exhales are equal. And by having your hand on your navel, this will help you with that diaphragmatic breath we've been working on. Letting any tension or tightness in your jaw and your hips go. And then let's set an intention for how we want to walk through our day. How do we want to show up for other people, for ourselves? It can be a single word, it can be just a couple short words. And every time your mind starts to get distracted in your practice today, gently bring it back and recite your intention, anchoring you back into the practice. So let's draw the knees in towards the chest together. Hold on to the knees so your feet aren't gonna go too far. And just start to rock and tilt your pelvis. You can draw circles if you want. Just releasing any kind of bits of tightness or tension that might have built up in like the pelvic bowl region. So just these little movements, keeping the breath steady and soft. And then we're going to bring the soles of the feet up to the sky. And let's just take a few moments and stretch out through the tops of our feet and our ankles. You can point and flex. You can draw circles if you want. So if you're going to be drawing circles with your feet, I highly recommend starting in one direction. And then after a few rounds, rotating and going in the other. You can pause and press through your heels and flex your toes. This is going to start to wake up through the hamstring. Just a few more rounds here, just waking up through the feet, the legs, anchoring ourselves into the earth, pressing that sacrum into the earth. And then exhale, bend the knees, cross the ankles, and we're going to roll onto our hands and knees for a tabletop position. And let's just take a couple rounds of cat-cow here. So if you're still feeling a little bit of discomfort or tightness in the tops of your feet, you can try tucking your toes here. That might alleviate that. Or placing either a cushion or a blanket or something. This will also help with any extra tension if you're having a little bit of inflammation in your feet. So just a couple rounds here of some slow cat-cows. Starting to invite the energy up through the spine, getting deeper into the hips and the shoulders. And then we're going to tuck our toes, lift our feet, and make our way into our first downward dog. So usually, well, as always, let's keep our knees bent here for this first downward dog. Really focusing on equal weight between the hands at the moment. Engaging through the shoulders and the upper back, letting the head and neck hang heavy. And then let's just straighten one leg at a time. So inhale, straighten your right leg, pressing through the heel, waking up through the sole of the foot, the hamstring, maybe the glutes and the lower back, depending on how tight you may be this morning.
And then exhale, you bend the knee. Then inhale, you straighten the opposite leg. So on the physical level, we're just starting to warm up through our muscles this morning. Energetically, we're starting to open up through the energy channel. And then make your way into a more appropriate or more um, assertive downward dog. And it's okay if your heels don't come near the mat at all. They don't have to. You can be on your toes here. Just actively press through your heels. Bend the knees as much as you need to. Take one more breath here, inviting the breath along the spine, out through the crown of the head. And then your next inhale, you're going to shift your weight into high plank. So keep the whole body engaged here. Let's stay for 5 breaths, starting to build a little bit of heat, a little bit of strength. So you don't want to dump your weight into the arms and shoulders here. Really engage across the muscles of the upper back. Engage your core, squeeze the glutes, squeeze the thighs. Use all of the muscles in your body. That way you're not relying on just a few. One more breath here. And we're going to exhale, downward dog. Finding some movement here, building some more heat. Inhale, we're going to lift the right foot up towards the sky. Exhale, the right knee comes to the right elbow. We're going to slide it to the wrist, to the elbow, and then back to 3-legged dog. All right, crossing the body now. Exhale, right knee, left elbow. You kind of slide it down towards the mat, back to the elbow, back to 3-legged dog. Coming into the knee to the nose, you're going to roll high on the ball of your left foot. This is really going to help. Draw the knee in towards your chest and then round your shoulders just like you do in cat pose. This creates more space in the abdomen to get that knee closer to your core. One more breath. 3-legged dog. And then if you want to take vinyasa, you're welcome to move through one. And I'll meet you in downward dog. All right, let's do that on the other side, and then we're going to give our shoulders a little bit of a break. So inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, left knee, left elbow. Slide it to the wrist, back to the elbow, and back to 3-legged dog. Left knee, right elbow, down towards the wrist, towards the elbow, back to 3-legged dog. Really building some agni, some heat. Knee to nose and you round. So roll high on the ball of that foot and round through your shoulders. It's really going to help here. One more breath. 3-legged dog. Maybe you take a vinyasa. And then we're all going to come back to a child's pose, bringing our hands alongside of our ankles just to relax and release the shoulders here. So we're going to take 3 full breaths in child's pose. Coming back to that intention you set for your day. Coming back to those equal inhales and exhales, reminding you that they're keeping you present and calm. That even though the pace may have quickened, as long as they're still equal, you are still in a state of coherence. Coming back into a downward dog that we're just passing through. We're going to bend the knees and just start to walk our feet to meet our hands to the top of the mat. Exhale and fold, hang heavy. So just adding a little bit of compression to our stomach and our digestion organs. This is going to help with digestion and assimilation. So especially here in the early morning, it really helps get like the digestive tract moving. Let's take a couple extra breaths here. I like to kind of wiggle my toes and start to open up through the bottom of my feet when I'm standing in this forward fold, actively pressing through the heels and feeling the hamstrings and the glutes get a nice stretch here. With your next inhale, you're slowly going to roll up to a standing position. Mountain pose, Tadasana. Use your inhale, draw both arms up overhead. Intertwine the fingers, press the palms towards the sky. And let's take our right foot behind and around our left, little bend in the left knee.
Inhale, reach those arms up. And then exhale, we're taking a lateral stretch to the left. So starting to wake up through the outside of the right body or the side body, the arm, the armpits. Inhale, come center, unwind the feet. Bring the left foot behind the right. Another inhale finds length, and then exhale, lateral stretch to the right. Really feeling it through the left hip flexor, the rib cage. Inhale, we come center, and exhale, we fold. Hands at the hips, the hands move towards the mat. Inhale, lift to a flat back. And as you exhale, we're gonna step back with the left foot, drop the left knee, and just pause here in a low lunge. So make sure the right knee is on top of the ankle or behind it. You don't want that knee surpassing the ankle because that's where injury can happen. The left knee is behind the hip. So if you find yourself kind of in this right angle shape, it's going to be too much on your kneecap. So take that foot back behind you a little bit more. This is also going to be a bigger stretch for you on that left hip flexor. Let the pelvis be heavy here. Take a breath. Feel the diaphragm drop into the belly. Feel everything expand. And then as you exhale, see if you can just shift your pelvis forward, even if it's just 1/4 of an inch. The next inhalation, you're going to sit back towards your left heel and keep the right foot firmly planted on the mat. So usually we roll up onto the heel here, but we're going to give a big stretch for the top of the foot. So leave the foot firmly planted there as you sit back towards the left heel. You're going to feel this in the hamstring and the top of your foot, maybe across your lower back. Next exhale, you're going to try and just soften any areas where you're being met with resistance and tightness. This is also a really great stretch that opens up through the meridian lines for your kidney and your urinary bladder. The little Chinese medicine happening in here. So one more breath. Exhale, you're going to bend back into the right knee. Let your pelvis be really, really heavy. So big stretch to the left hip flexor. Still talking about meridians. This compression here is putting awareness or kind of activating through the stomach and the gallbladder meridian. So just inviting new chi and prana into those areas, those organs of the body. All right, one more time. Inhale, sit back towards the left heel. This time you're going to roll onto the heel of your right foot, flex the toes. So taking the stretch kind of less out of the top of the foot and more into the bottom of the foot here, opening up through all the energy channels in the bottom of your foot. Your next exhale, you're just going to hinge your torso forward into just a slight forward fold, deepening into the stretch. Keep the breath steady. So yes, physically, you're probably feeling this in the hamstring and in the muscles, but energetically, you're getting deep into your organs. One more breath. Exhale, we bend back into that right knee. We're going to tuck our left toes. Inhale, lift the hips. So now we're in a runner's lunge. Stay high on the ball of your back foot. Use your next inhale to lift up into a crescent warrior. Taking a few breaths, grounding yourself in this warrior. So you're high on the ball of the foot here. Really engage that back left leg. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but if you have a bent knee like this, it's actually a lot harder and it's probably painful on your knee. So lift the hips, lift the glutes, straighten that leg as much as you can. You're going to engage all the muscles and that's going to make it easier. I promise you. One more breath here. Your arms can be up if you want, reaching up towards the universal energy. And then exhale, let's bring both hands to the mat. Let's have a little fun this morning and lift up into a standing split. So in standing splits, you want to keep your hips square. So keep the left toes pointing towards the earth. Oftentimes we think to split and we're going to open up really big here. That's not what we're doing here. Keep your hips square. If you're feeling really stable this morning, which I am not, maybe you can take one hand or both to your standing ankle. Hold one more breath here. And then as you exhale, you're going to step that left foot to meet the right, forward fold.
Inhale, you bend the knees, you drop your seat, and you're gonna lift up into a chair pose, Utkatasana.
Get the sway out of your lower back, so really tilt your tailbone. Chair pose, you don't have to be down here. In fact, up here is a perfectly good chair pose. Make sure you can see your toes. Your legs can be about as wide as your hips, or you can even have them pressing together. Everyone's a little bit different. But actively squeeze the thighs and the glutes together. Tuck the tailbone. Lift the heart and sternum. Starting to bring the awareness into the meridians of the heart and the lungs. Drawing the energy up from the earth. One more breath here. And then exhale, hinge forward as the hands move towards the earth. Inhale, lift to a flat back. Exhale, take that right foot back. Drop the right knee. Let's get into the hips, the pelvis, and just pause here in this low lunge. So in this pose, I give you the permission to let the tummy be soft, let the glutes be soft. This whole region from rib cage to knees, let them be soft. So you don't want to engage here. You want to let gravity just kind of draw you towards the earth. This is going to give you the biggest stretch without having to use extra energy. So one more breath here, letting that pelvis be nice and heavy. And then inhale, we sit back towards the right foot, leaving the left toes firmly planted on the earth here. So we're getting a stretch for the top of the left foot, a little stretch for the hamstring, maybe even for the lower back. So the bottoms of our feet are like a switchboard, or trying to use an electrical analogy here, and I just don't have one. Like a breaker, in your home, and you've got all of these switches in the bottom of your feet that are attached to the meridian lines for different organs in the body. So by stretching your foot like this, you're opening up all of those energy channels. Exhale, bend back into that left knee. Let the pelvis be nice and heavy. Notice if you're feeling any tightness or resistance in the hips, and then ask yourself what you can let go of. And then inhale, sit back towards the right heel and roll the left toes off of the mat. Exhale, take that little hinge forward. It's just like a little quarter of an inch, but it's going to intensify the stretch in the bottom of your foot, the hamstring, the glute, and maybe even in that left side of your back. Keep your breath steady. Here we are in a forward fold. It's pretty active, but it's a forward fold. So remember, the forward folds are these opportunities to just check in with yourself. So remind yourself of your intention for your day. Exhale, we bend back into the left knee. We tuck the right toes, and we're going to lift the hips, runner's lunge. When you find stability in your footing, then you inhale, lift up, crescent warrior. And we pause. Your arms can be reaching up overhead if you want to find that extension, inviting the energy up through your spine. If you need a little bit more stability, you can bring your hands to your hips today, even to your heart. You choose your arm variation. But what we're doing is we're really anchoring in to the earth. We're building some strength in our thighs and our hips, allowing our breath to be steady. And then as we exhale, we're going to bring both hands to the earth, and then inhale, lift the right foot up for standing split. Standing splits, you have to be grounded. You're literally relying on one foot connected to the earth. So draw in that grounding earth energy. Engage that leg. Same thing here. If you find that your leg is a little bit bent, it's actually going to be harder. So actively press through your heel, lift your hips. Maybe you challenge your balance. I'm super wobbly this morning. There we go. Even if it's just for a breath. Exhale, drop the right foot to meet the left. Inhale, bend the knees, drop the feet, lift the heart. Utkatasana, chair pose. Drop the shoulders. Drop heavier into your seat. See if you can lift your toes off the earth. One more breath. Inhale, find extension, and exhale, hinge at the hip.
Inhale, we lift to a flat back. Exhale, you're stepping back into high plank. Maybe you move through a vinyasa if you want. You don't have to. If not, we can just hang out in high plank for another breath, building some more heat. And then we're all going to meet in dolphin. So if you're in high plank, you're going to drop to your forearm. If you're in down dog, you'll drop to your forearm. Lift your feet and then start to walk your feet in. So actively press through your elbows. You want your elbows stacked under your shoulders. You're broadening across your chest here. The gaze should be at your thumbs. You're high on your tippy toes. This really, really helps, I promise you. You can even have a bend in your knees here and walk the feet in more. You've been building strength in your shoulders. You've been lengthening your legs. Your breath is steady. You've got heat and fire in your core. And now you're changing your perspective because you're upside down. Hold 3 more breaths. I know it's tough, but sometimes when we change our perspective, we change our life. And exhale, drop the knees. Take a child's pose. Give yourself a moment to come back to that equal breath. Give yourself a moment in child's pose to just reflect on maybe a perspective in your life that you could change. Because we all have a choice how we see and view things. Yes, there are circumstances in our life that create filters, but ultimately we have a choice, and we don't actually see the world as it is. We see the world as we are. Sometimes when I'm feeling stuck with something in my life, I change my perspective about it. And sometimes that means sitting at a different seat at the dinner table or switching up my routine, and just creating something different really helps me see things differently. So does standing on your head or doing inversions like dolphin pose. So I need to slow down our practice now, guys. We're going to just walk your hands under your shoulders, and we're coming right to a seat. Straighten the legs out in front of you. Let's point and flex those toes a little bit more just to continue stretching out through the tops of our feet. And we're going to scoot ourselves all the way to the edge of the mat so that our heels are they're dangling off of the mat there. Flex the toes. Draw the toes towards your face. Engage through the legs. In fact, your legs should be so engaged right now that your heels may be popping off of the mat. Inhale, reach the arms up. And then exhale, drop the arms so that they are in line with your shoulders, like you're holding a cube. Engage your core here. And as you exhale with control, you're going to lower all the way down to the earth. Your heels are going to move. That's why we scooted down. And there's going to be a moment where you just want to drop. Pause there. Be in control. You have the control of your body. You have the control of your mind. Continue to lower all the way down. And then reach your arms overhead for a full body stretch. You can point and flex the toes again. You can take up some space. And then draw both knees in towards the chest. Maybe you rock gently from side to side just to release any tension or pockets of energy. And then your next exhale, we're going to take both knees over to the left for supine twist. The eyes are closed or at a soft gaze. You begin to elongate through your exhale. Just starting to put yourself in that parasympathetic state, that rest and digest state. Knowing that you can be rested and relaxed and still assertive through your day. In fact, you'll probably be more productive. Inhale, draw the knees center, and then exhale, take them to the other side. If you're having a little bit of a hard time elongating the exhale, count. It helps so much. Inhale for 3, exhale for 6, or whatever appropriate ratio suits you. Feel yourself relaxing. Inhale, drawing the knees back center, and then exhale, make your way into your Shavasana. Take your time here to be comfortable. Allow the feet to be wider than the hips. Allow the shoulders to be comfortably drawn down your back. Relax and let go. We're going to be in Shavasana for 1 full minute. It's a short Shavasana. For this next 60 seconds, can you visualize your day exactly as you want it to go? How do you want to feel? What do you want to accomplish? How do you want to treat yourself? How do you want to be treated by others? You are welcome to stay here, exactly where you are. Visualizing your day, breathing with intention, softening your body. So when you're ready, come back. Come back to this present moment. But bring with you this idea for your day. Don't leave it in the dream world. Bring it back with you. And as you begin to like move through the body again, finding movement in your fingers and your toes and your face, anchor that dream or anchor this idea, anchor this intention of your day into your being. So now you're waking up with intention for the second time today, knowing exactly how you want to walk through your day. It's pretty powerful. Eventually, you'll make your way to your side body. You reconnect with this present moment, anchoring your intention into the present moment. And then you'll use your inhale, make your way up to a comfortable seat. I'm going to bring both hands together at heart center just to close the energy channels. To take 3 conscious breaths, breathing in your intention for your day. And each time you exhale, letting go something that's hindering that. And in honor of all that you are. Namaste.